Again, they both good guys. I grew up with both of them guys. I watched them in the amateurs, so I'm like a student like they are. You know what I'm saying? Just trying to reach them heights that they're reaching. So when I watch them perform, it's happiness for both teams. You know what I'm saying? Because I know both of them put that role in to get where they at today.
So the fans are the winners.
The fans are always the winner when you see a great fight.
I do what I do. He knows what I'm about to tell him right now. It's Mr. Keep running your mouth. That's what I
do. I just feel like I'm the champ, and at the end of the day, I'm just a fighting motherfucker. It doesn't matter. Inside, outside, I can just fight. So I just feel like if it gets down to the wire, we gotta lock it up, I'm out on top.
As you can see how I'm looking, I stay solid. I'm always solid. I stay fucked solid up, right? You know what I'm saying? To the fans that know.
Every day, job outside the ring. I'm a fighter. Like I said before, ain't no safety on the clock, so
I'll take them how they come and make them look ordinary.
When I was a casual, I thought as a casual, I spoke like a casual, and I looked at boxing like a casual. But when I became a hardcore, I put away all those casual things. This is Michael Rogers, and welcome to Bodywork Boxing.
Welcome back. It's your favorite content creator, Michael Rogers. Bodywork. And I'm reflecting on a concept I've been working on, because I got a couple series called The Top 5 Myths in Boxing, and I'm on the second edition. I'm on number 3, and it's a big concept or belief or shit that we seeing acting out here in these boxing streets and these YouTube streets, that these boxers gotta be enemies for us to get the good fights. And me, for one, I don't agree with that philosophy. I don't buy into it. And I always say, look, you can like two boxers and have a preference of one over the other without having to hate one and love the other. I've said several times. And last week, I caught Coach Calvin, an interview from Coach Calvin. And salute to Coach Calvin, man. That man he's a wealth of knowledge. He has so much wisdom, and I like the way he carried himself. And I always love to hear from Coach Calvin, and his perspective. But what you heard was, someone asking him about Errol Spence and Bud Crawford, and he wasn't even being political. See, people think you got to be political and dance around circles, and you gotta bullshit everybody on how you feel, and you really don't. Coach Calvin said, man, I got love for both of them guys. It'll be success for both families. He's rooting for both of them. He saw them come up from the amateurs. And some of us pure boxing fans, man, we might have favorite boxers and all that, but as a pure boxing fan, man, it's kind of hard to actually hate some of these boxers, but what I'm seeing is, man, the gang mentality is coming into the YouTube streets. I saw it this weekend, fresh off the Devin and Tank fight. Both of them fought, and everybody's trying to pit them two against each other, and in all actuality, they actually homeboys. They probably don't hang around each other and all that, but they're cool. It's us as fans thinking that we gotta perpetuate all this drama. Like I said, man, this boxing shit, it's turning into some like WWE. You got mascots running around, running up on people, barking, and you just got so much drama, and everybody just, want to be drama based. And I understand that this is a combat sport, but what that's correlating to is for us as fans to always be combative. I always say, look, I welcome dialogue when it comes to boxing. You know, pretty much people who spend a lot of time coming up with videos, making content, commenting, and just being in the know, they actually really love boxing. But I'm starting to think that a lot of people don't really love boxing because of the time that they're actually getting involved with it. They actually love the drama surrounding it. They like being able to make videos where they can call you the P word, the B word, everything under the sun. They can talk about your mama. They can say SMD. They can threaten to kill people. I mean, you got people, you got fans that's getting personal with each other and ready to fight and ready to shoot, ready to scrap over boxing. You know, I have reason to believe that Floyd and Pacquiao, they didn't hate each other. It was everybody surrounding them saying, "Oh, he's better than you," and this and this and that. But it was really their willingness or their desire to prove who was better. And in the midst, politics got involved and fights got pushed back and promoters wanted this and they wanted to build a fight and over marination. And then here you go thinking that these two really had bad blood. And even afterwards, you would think, you know, with some of the things that's reported and some of the videos that were coming out at the time, that these two fighters really hated each other, and it really wasn't that. And it's very seldom. I mean, you get a few cases where it's kind of like some bad blood, probably like how Spence feel about Thurman, maybe, you know. But in that encounter with Bud and Spence, when Bud was on his way up, he was getting ready to move up to 147. He hadn't got there, and they had that infamous meeting, the Red Hoodie meeting, the Bet a Million. That meeting. They were just playing around. They were just showing their competitive spirit with each other. They were just talking shit to each other. I mean, I even fast forward to barbershop conversations about 5-6 months ago. Earl Spence actually popped in on the call, and he basically told us in the interview that he had talked to Bud. So, I mean, how big of an enemies are they? I think us as fans are getting toxic with this bullshit. It happened with the Wilder shit. And when you look back at the Wilder and Fury thing, I mean, initially they didn't have any bad blood. Wilder said he was extending a helping hand, trying to get this man back on his feet. One thing turned into another. The fight was competitive. You know, the first one was a tie, and then, you know, you got the second one, the cheating allegations. The next thing you know, you got a whole boxing community divided. Because of what? And they never really had to be enemies. It was just one offense going up against another offense, which creates a bigger offense, and next thing you know, shit is just spiraling out of control. The whole boxing community divided, and every conversation surrounding it, unless you were, yes, you're right, the community was divided and toxic. It's getting to the point to where now you can't even really stick to the X's and O's. Who got the better jab? Who does the better body work? Who's more accurate? Whose knockout percentage is higher? Who has the best stamina? Who's the pressure guy? Who's more finesse? You know, you're not even talking about things that relate to boxing anymore. And I know whenever I comment or make a video or I get some of the stuff I get, it's like I don't even respond to some, because if your first result is to calling names or saying such and such is a dick rider, or, you know, it's just all this other stuff, you know what I'm saying? We know that there are OnlyFans out there. And I use that term all the time, but OnlyFans means that if your fighter is fighting somebody else, you're going to go all out, beyond reason, beyond rationale, to defend your fighter, to put down other fighters, to put down fans, to, you know, just be vulgar and stupid with it when it comes to your fighter. And you don't have to act like that. We don't have to act like that. And our reason that us acting like that is actually attributing to these fights not being made. Why? Because you get some content creators that want to push certain agendas, whether it's race-based, whether it's money-driven. they push a certain agenda, and they have a group of people following them, putting out certain narratives, and every time somebody comes and they actually challenge something that somebody says, they're treated like somebody's actually in a church challenging the pastor about the gospel. I mean, I don't know when these people actually became, you know, the subject matter, the shmees, the subject matter experts about everything concerning boxing. It's like, no, you've been watching boxing, you have an opinion, and yes, you might have a more educated opinion, but at the end of the day, it's still an opinion, because these boxers got to get inside the ring and they have to fight. We make foregone conclusions for these fighters all the time, like, oh, such and such is going to do this, and it's just the love and the thrill of the sport, and you know, the combat and seeing them go to war, you know, it's, you know, which is understandable, but it's getting out of control. I reason that Bud doesn't hate Spence. Spence doesn't hate Bud. They're actually cool. There might be some bad blood like a Bud and a Mr. Gary Russell from some stuff that they got going on. There might be some kind of light blood between Devin and Tio, but I think that really got out of control because they knew each other in the amateurs. They sparred. It's really not all this bad blood. Every now and again, you do have some people that decide they really don't like each other. Even to the point where I think the Tank and the Rolly thing, I think that part of that was a little bit embellishment. And it's all part of building the fight. But I think in our quest to build some of these fights, we become toxic. And it's not good. The dialogue don't get anywhere. We don't always have to agree. We can agree to disagree. We can move on. But all of the personal attacks and all the stupid shit that we say and do to each other just don't make any sense. I don't believe that boxers need to be enemies to actually get the good fights. You actually see what happened when Shakur was going up against Jamel Herring, and Shakur took on this. And that's my guy. I said he's the future. That's my guy. But you saw him take on this persona to where he made it seem like Jamel was his enemy, and everybody could see through that. Jamel's wife was even salty after the fight because she was basically saying, Shakur, you don't have to do that. And I understand Shakur's mindset, but I think that in time, as he matures a little bit more, I like that edge he got, but as he matures a little bit more, he'll realize that he didn't have to do that. You know, but his mentality was, I can't treat you like a friend. I can't think, so he had to wipe it out. And that was his way to compartmentalize and get the job done, and he did. You also seen a hint of it between Bud and Sean Porter. And they were good friends. But you had Bud saying, no, I'm not your friend until after the fight, which is understandable, but some of the stuff that we're pushing in the way that we're going about discussing how, you know, fighters match up, or the mismatches, and, you know, the strengths and the weaknesses, man, we get off the main path of actually just discussing boxing. And by no means am I trying to be some kind of UN world peace kumbaya looking ass. You know, I'm just saying that it's just getting out of control. Saw a lot of videos today to where people who love Devin was shitting on Tank, and people who love Tank were just shitting on Devin. And it's clear that none of y'all watched the fight. Because before the fight, y'all was saying y'all wasn't even going to buy the shit. Most of y'all don't even got the zone. A person like myself got a subscription to the zone, and I'm pretty much going to support Tank, you know. And that's just me. But I don't believe that these two young men got to hate each other in order for us to get a good fight. What we need to do is channel all that aggression and that anger and all that excess toxic energy into being more solution oriented by policing up these platforms, and, you know, letting people talk and not getting personal. You know, maybe we can, at the end of the day, maybe we can figure out that, hey, some of this shit is just a misunderstanding. You know, but like Coach Calvin said, most of the time, I take on the same approach. When I look at these fighters, I wish the best for each fighter. We know how brutal it is because boxers get hit in the head for a living. But at the end of the day, they don't have to hate each other. They might not even ever fight again. It's very rare, even though this is the time or the age of the rematch, They might not ever even see each other. But they're trying to do it with Boots and Bud, or Boots and Spence, and they're trying to do it with Bud and Jermell, and you know, I see something where it's a good fight on the horizon with Erickson Lubin and Danny Garcia at 54, since Garcia is moving up. But that'll be a hell of a fight, in my opinion. You know, a very good fight. You know, but that fight, you know, if us as fans, if we took it upon ourselves to try to push the needle to get that fight, it'll probably be toxic, unless we go about it the right way. These boxers can fight each other without hating each other. That's just my thoughts. So I'm here to debunk that myth to where fighters have to fight each other to get good fights. That's all I really got to say. You know what I'm saying? I love the sport. I want to put fresh water back into the lake to kind of help preserve the sport and try to help out the community, man, because we don't look bad in the face of others the way we talk to each other. And that's just my personal opinion. So in the top 5 myths in boxing, myth number 3, second edition, boxers need to be enemies to have great fights. That's false. Body work.
All right. I believe you. But my Tommy gun don't. Get down on your knees and tell me you love me.
My word, and I do what I do. He knows what I'm about to tell him right now. It's Mr. Keep running your mouth. That's what I do.
I just feel like I'm the champ, and at the end of the day, I'm just a fighting motherfucker. It doesn't matter. Inside, outside, I can just fight. So I just feel like if you get down to the wire, and we gotta lock it up, I'm out on top.
Hey, look, as you can see how I'm looking, I stay solid. I'm always solid. I stay fuck solid up, right? You know what I'm saying? To the fans and all
Do that job outside the ring. I'm the fighter. Like I said before, ain't no safety on the clock, so